Today I want to talk about two emotions: anger and fear. Anger and fear, they're very powerful emotions. They're emotions that we all experience, and they have a lot in common. Anger and fear create a lot of a physiological response or reaction, kind of like the fight or flight response. They're very powerful and they impact us in a big way. And in today's times, with the pandemic, with social unrest, with issues that we struggle with the government and choices and decisions and the two parties, all the conflicts that we have, it seems like fear and anger consume so many of us. Unfortunately, they also can incapacitate us. They can paralyze us. They can keep us stuck. Those two emotions, anger and fear, very powerful emotions. And why those two emotions? Because those are emotions that I believe tie back into control. Those two emotions are emotions we feel when we don't have control, when we feel a loss of control. And I believe that fear often leads to anger. So what do you do with those emotions? Because everyone has fear at times and anger at times. Are you the type of person that internalizes emotions? Do you internalize your fear? Do you internalize your anger? Do you keep it all inside, stuffed up, suppressed? And then every once in a while you explode? Or are you the type that wears your emotions on your sleeve? That everyone knows what you're thinking and feeling? That your anxiety, your fear, or your anger are apparent? So what do you do with your emotions? Because they impact all of us. And my hope is that you don't keep it bottled up inside, but that you know or have learned healthy and constructive ways to deal with those two emotions. Because those two emotions, they're not going away. They're part of life. It seems like in today's day and age, those emotions have been intensified. They've been magnified. Why is that? Well, I believe the media, whether it's social media or the media that we watch, either through our computers or through our TVs, they hype up those two emotions. They want us to feel angry or fearful because that motivates us to watch more, to be more engaged. Sadly, but those two emotions are exactly what the media hopes we experience. Have you ever seen when a hurricane approaches and the Weather Channel is covering it? It's almost like there's this excitement, this frenzy, and they love talking about the storm approaching and how exciting, and they hype it up, no doubt. And we're drawn into it. We're drawn in to watch more of it because we want to feel like we have control, we have knowledge, we understand where it's going, where it's going to hit, when it's going to hit. And the reality is we don't. We don't. So what do we do with those emotions? How do we deal with them? How do we cope with them? Everyone copes with them differently, in some healthy ways and some unhealthy ways. And we're all guilty of engaging in healthy and unhealthy coping mechanisms. But I want to give you five. I want to give you 5 healthy coping mechanisms. So one that I love is exercise, physical activity. Get out and walk, ride a bike, run, go to the gym. Some form of physical exercise can help us with dealing with those negative emotions. The second thing that we can do is we can learn to relax. Relax our bodies. Maybe it's through abdominal breathing, maybe it's through yoga, maybe it's through mindfulness, but learn healthy ways to relax your body. The third thing I want to talk about is CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. It's a technique that, a set of tools and strategies that I use all the time with my patients. It's learning to change the way you think. It's reframing your thoughts, because a lot of times our thoughts get us in trouble. So when we're anxious or angry, we generate some real negative, destructive, sometimes irrational thoughts that just add fuel to the fire. We oftentimes are our own worst enemy. So modifying and changing the way we think can help us in dealing with those emotions. The fourth thing is journaling, writing. I'm telling you, there's something about writing a letter or writing in a journal that is releasing, is a way of cathartic and letting go and getting rid of some of those negative thoughts or those negative emotions that sometimes consume us. And lastly, learning how to communicate assertively, not aggressively, not passively, and not passive aggressively, but assertively communicating. Being direct, being open and honest with people. That's also a good way to deal with anger and fear. I'm telling you that these emotions are emotions that affect each and every one of us, and you can't eliminate those emotions entirely. But I'm offering you some strategies to manage those emotions. To not be consumed, to not be obsessed, and to not be stuck with those negative emotions, but to take action. I challenge you, don't let those two emotions consume you, but instead manage them through some positive ways. Until next time, Dr. Tony signing out.